Ghana, yes, it fights corruption, but the total liberation of Ghana is meaningless without the total liberation of this archaic mindset into community. Definition: people communing within the same city, sitting on the same frequency, but people can't commune into. They're living their lives in silos, each one storing grain for only himself. So from Ashaiman to Te, you are known as Stone. Boy, you live your life like you are living under a stone. Boy, focused on only your life like a flint. So like a king. David, you sling stones at the gigantic problems in Africa, ignorant of the paupers that lieth in your hood, like you are some servant in the era of a king. James, showing him, living flat in that your flat shackled in your mind, sitting in that AC in complaints of the churches that give you migraines, my guy. You're complaining of the churches that trot in your neighborhood, ignorant of the paupers that lieth in your hood. Kurebu de Halibanza. Let's go of your bad character. You are naive to the affairs of the states. You don't go to the mini streets of inner cities and zone goals, while their ministers zone in as much as they can yet to yap about how their ministries don't pop. Abracadabra, adabra, here abracadabra, and you may be the only magic they may see. These mini streets must go. These slums must go. These slums need to be slammed down. So become the undertaker and do something about the chokes in the slums, because them zongos will hear mboa. These zongos need help. And he says normal with a shrug, like normal is the most normal thing you can do.
Charlie, how far? Normal.
Normal.
Yeah, okay.
So it makes me bleed, right? And I wrote this poem. You say the word normal. I asked my young cousin what's happening with him, and he said normal. Ask most people what they have been up to, they shrug, act chill, and say normal. Like university lecturers thanking their gods in their lecture halls, sharing historic data as information. No wonder we consider our identities inferior, other nationalities better, foreign services superior, our innovations expected to feel one way or the other. Why are we shrinking? Why do we want to be just normal? Isn't normal an ideology? Like the internet in my nephew's generation, bloated opinions indexed as knowledge by multinational corporations, sources of entertainment substituted as libraries, humanity diluting its intelligence in a plurality of choices, shriveling our attention in the twitching of our fingers, binge watching futuristic shows just so we can dream again. Isn't normal no longer noticed because it has blended in? Inhumane acts displayed as memes alongside sliding presidents and the Malian Spider-Man in France swinging on metallic bars that have become a part of his identity. First one to post a tragedy gets the highest number of views. I mean, retweets aren't always endorsements, but they sure feel good. Isn't normal a word used too hastily to describe demagogues? Exchanging words with nuclear detonators, playing with the future of unborn geniuses. Africa's problems no longer come as surprises. Governments garnished with shameless convictions. Millions of currencies devoured by reptilians. African magic has always been intriguing. Videos from Anas no longer come as surprises. Able-bodied men begging for survival. Less endowed students struggling for opportunity. Autonomous Africans displayed as effigies. Ambitious corporate women projected as trophies. Encouraged to dress tight cause big man only signs checks delivered by sexy sprites. Isn't normal fast becoming a metaphor for the mediocre? An atmosphere the extraordinary no longer wish to be in. But who says? Who says normal has to be this crummy? In the 19th century, when aluminium was first discovered, it was reserved as prize cutlery for special guests, whilst the less favored used gold knives and forks. Sugar was a luxury only the elites could afford. Salt was as valuable as the monthly wages of soldiers. Normal doesn't have to be ordinary. It could very well be 100% literacy rate. Women no longer irate. African startups influencing the global climate. Breakthroughs in the Kagamis we celebrate. Normal doesn't have to be ordinary or anything you have buffered to. It could very well be a red bird called Reggie that can fly, yet rises to the occasion to inspire a community to believe in their dreams. So how about you define your normal? Do yourself a favor. Make it epic. This one is called the ignorance of arrogance and the arrogance of ignorance. They say, when your oppressor wants to remove your identity, he takes away your history. Simple question. Was Babel ever built? A 20-story oriental tower reaching African gods. A gift to their descendants so they can interview in their talks, contemplate their wealth in the assimilated languages taught by benefactors that predicted their future. Is anything ever free? We can no longer blame, point fingers or shame. $2 million loans for cocoa exploitations. Counterintelligence by educated servants. Chocolate called Ghana from the east. Golden trees dying in our forests. Not so simple question. Does the sun no longer shine over this equator? Too many logs in our eyes to see who is the traitor. Those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. 50 years after 20 centuries. Pale reports on the apartheid records predicted the plight of the melanin. Nubians too savage, self-destructing. It's been many years, yet prophecies keep recurring. Self-fulfilled by the arrogance of ignorance. Peace sold for the price of dirt. Royal successes comfortable in the historic successes. Lazy deities sinking in imported cushions. Wealthy past the pride of a future. Demonized in stories reported as truth. Many remember Ghana and Africa for less it's worth. Her kings discarded as prisoners. Princesses exchanged for papers. Princes pronounced as paupers. We have been slow dancing to horrible songs on repeat. But men that can't dance and dreadless rasters. So here's some revelation for the total liberation. Bantu is forgotten, but Biafra must live on. 61 years after the Declaration of Independence. Let's pursue the total liberation of Africa.